Cycling in the off season, like how do I structure my training?
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Cycling in the off season, like how do I structure my training? And a lot of that is going to come down on what you're trying to work towards, obviously. Like if it's road racing, time trialing, track racing, or you might be a triathlete. I think initially is once you get back into training, it's very easy to go, right, you know, like you might be an athlete that's got loads of time, you might have 20 hours a week, but the majority of people probably watching this, my guess is you've probably got like 6 to 8 hours. What you don't want to be doing straight away is utilising like all the hours that you've got. Like jumping straight into training and doing like long aerobic based 6-hour rides, for example, especially like when the weather's like really bad, it's kind of pointless to kind of you know, like jump into that. What you do want to be working on is like the first structure that we all need to be working on as soon as we get back into training is introducing the strength back onto the bike, you know, and that can come from just, you know, like riding, getting the muscles activated. You can introduce like strength in terms of like utilizing like gear, you know, like the gears that you've got on your bike, doing like over gear work. But the main one that we always work on is like working on like pedal technique, so trying to get like more efficient on the bike. So for a lot of people, they might have like kind of like this dead spot that they're, you know, like when they pull through like the full phase of like the pedal stroke. That's a great point to start working at. Or if you're like a road racer, like acceleration is like a key one, and what triathletes really struggle with is like cadence work, and that means that they're very good at like overgearing, but they're not very efficient at utilizing like a full range of gears. They might be good at like 70 to 80 cadence, but they're not very good at like 90 to 100. And what I've generally found is if you can get cadence for triathlon up to like 90 to 100, you generally find that it's more efficient like running off the bike. So that's what we always infrastructure into like somebody's training initially. Once you've kind of, you know what you're going to work on, where your weaknesses are, then that's when you start to increase like the volume of like the training. I think like volume generally, you know, we always try and bring that in before we bring like the intensity. So you have like a good month where, you know, like you're doing like your zone 2, your zone 3 workouts, but then you might start to introduce like more of like your threshold work, your VO2 max work, but not full gas efforts, if that makes sense. You don't want to be going in and like going, you know, a typical session might be we're going to do like 5x5 VO2 max. That's probably not a great way, because that's going to get you too fit too fast. So initially I always like to ramp training up progressively. So if you just think of it as like, it's like this gradual build that we're trying to get up till Christmas, and then we can have a bit of a break with the family. Then we retrain, we build up to like February, and then generally for a lot of people they're going to start like their racing. Then you'll have like your first key race, build, and then back off and build. Like if you ever look at anybody that's very good at racing, they're always having like these peaks. It's never just like a flat line, and the reason for that is they're just not utilizing like all their hours in the winter. They're kind of progressively bringing it up. Yeah, and one of the other, you know, like why we train in this way of we're not just going all guns blazing at the start of the year. A lot of it is like down to like mental health and mental well-being. You know, it's just impossible to be going like full gas like throughout the year. You've got to kind of decompress, and say if you're going out and doing 6-hour rides in like the rain, for example, in, you know, like December, but your key goal into like June, are you still going to want to do that like later in the line? And the problem that you'll have is if you've utilised so much time at the start of the year, then you can't build on that unless you have like another break ultimately. So especially like if you're in like the UK or anywhere where the winters can be quite harsh, it just takes a lot out of you, you know, like for each day, because that's the key to success with training. It's just being, there's no like hero sessions. You just want to be like, each day is just like you're consistent. Like consistency is like the king of being like a great athlete. And then you overload the training when it comes to like the key goal, like 6 to 8 weeks out is where you want to try and utilize like more of that time.